Hey guys, I want to go through a process of trying to make something here. So I've got this um, Y splitter for 3D printer for the Bambu Labs 3D printer, which allows you to bring the external filament through a Y adapter, so you don't have to disconnect tubes. So we have Bowden PTFE tubes and we have the connectors. So we're going to build this assembly here and so that it can fit these connectors. And I'm going to kind of show you how to do that in Fusion 360. Okay, so we're going to lay this out in Fusion 360. And we're going to start off first with creating a component. And I'm just going to call this, let's say, splitter. And inside this component, I'm going to create a couple components. One is going to be the splitter body. And then we'll create another one called the splitter clip. And we'll probably do the clip later in another video. Because this might be long, depending on how long it takes me to draw this. And we're going to select this this component, and I think what I'll do here is I'll set to isolate. And so everything else is blocked out. And if we look, I've pre-programmed a few parameters here. I got filament length. That's kind of how much filament is going to be in the body. So approximately 40 millimeters. We've got the connector outer dimension and the inner dimension. And then at the split level, we have a hole where the filament is going to go into. This is generally going to be bigger than the 2 millimeter or so Bowden tube. And on the output side, we want to have the exit to be less than the Bowden tube, so that we can get so when we pass our filament through, it doesn't get caught on anything like the edge of a Bowden tube. We got the connector height, which is kind of the separation between the two on the splitter. So this could be splitter height. Then each one of the connectors will have both a depth and a draft. So a draft is kind of going back against the body and kind of encompassing the body. And then the depth is kind of pushing out away from the main body. And then a rough angle of 30 degrees. So as we start in here, we're going to start with a sketch. And I think let's do it from the top. So we'll go from the top down. So I'll pick this. And I basically am going to start out with a line. And we're going to call this, this will be our filament length. And why don't we make that concentric with the, is it concentric or is it collinear? Let's see, is it coincident? Yeah, that looks good. So we got our line. This is kind of the length of the tube, of, kind of the length of the main body. Offset from that, we're going to have at 90 degrees, we're going to have a separation between the two connectors, and that's going to be your splitter, or actually your connector height. And for this, we're going to go with, this should be on the midpoint of this line. So we'll select that constraint. Now at the top here, I want a 30-degree kind of connector face. So I'm going to start with another line here. And that line is going to be the connector's outer dimension. And then we're going to have a degree of offset. So from 90 degrees, I would like to have the angle added on. So I have something that looks like this. So the material flows in from here and it comes down and then outputs this way. So this guy here, we're going to make that, we're going to make this guy, and we're going to put a mid constraint, so this is in the middle of that. No, didn't work. How about now? Oh, over here. There we go. Okay, so we have our kind of our connector here. We need a little bit of a draft. So this is the draft. So I want that draft to be straight. I don't want it influenced by the curve. So we're going to take and off of the midpoint of the connector opening, we're going to come down perpendicular to that. Let's do a line here. We'll come down perpendicular to that, and that will be our connector draft. So that'll give us, you know, you have your main body of your connector, and there's a hole, and then eventually things get hooked up here and then passed down in the curve. Okay, so let's tackle this curve. I like using these conic curves. So we'll start back here, and we'll run it right to our endpoint here. And here's kind of a nice little trick I found. I don't exactly know what this is, but if I keep my mouse like this, it's going to kind of lock into a perpendicular or straight line. And once I connect my bottom, I now have the kind of curve is kind of set. Both ends are set, and the kind of the angle is set. I think that's the rho value. I'm not sure. And I'm going to accept this 0.75 value. And now we're left with a nice entrance and then a nice sloping, a gentle slope to the output for our path. Now, what's really kind of cool about this is once we have this set up like this, and we go ahead and change our parameters. Let's say I want to make the angle different. Let's say I want to make it 45. Well, when I make it 45, it automatically changes this angle. If I make it 15, same kind of thing happens. So I like the gentle slope of the 30. So we're going to stick with the 30 for now. And we'll hit OK. Now, for the most part, this whole upper part is set. So I'm going to duplicate that on the bottom. So I'm going to highlight the components that I want to duplicate. I'm going to go say create mirror and then select the middle line here to get our mirror. And if we hit OK here, we have mirrored our geometries. I know from this side that I'm going to be drawing some circles to give us the connector. So I'm going to need a face to draw on over here with this angle. The easiest way I found to do this is to do, I need to finish the sketch first, then construct plane and angle. And if I click here, I get a plane that's on this angle, and now I can turn it 90 degrees so that it will be perpendicular to the face. So you can see there, that's where the connectors are going to fly into. And so we'll construct another one of these planes, plane at angle, and we'll set 90 degrees. And I don't think I need to build one here. I wonder what happens when I do this plane at angle. If I click here, oh yeah, it'll let me. So I'll say 90 degrees. No, that's not exactly what I want though. So I'll cancel that. I'm assuming we'll be able to see that on the when we get to building this back end. We'll since we're on the origin, we'll get a plane there that's perpendicular. So let's open this up and let's name some of these. We'll call this guy this construction plane left and right, like so. Now I'm going to create another sketch, and I should be on that left plane. So I'm going to create some circles here, and connector outer dimension. We need connector inner dimension, and then we need our connector let's say this is, I think it's splitter hole. Yeah. And there we have those. If I finish sketch now, we now have some circles in that plane. Let's go to the right plane and we'll do a sketch there. Create a circle, connector, outer dimension, go connector, inner dimension, and we have our splitter hole here. And now if I hit finish sketch, now we have. Now, one thing that we need is in this draft, I want to cut a taper so that when it 3D prints, there's going to be a taper down here for sure, but I want to carry that taper through. So what's going to end up happening here is between this front face of this connector to the draft level, I'm going to taper from this end down to the smaller hole. So the larger hole tapers down to the littler hole. It's kind of tricky to visualize this here, but I need to get these lines in place. So I'm going to edit this sketch. Well, let's name these sketches actually. Let's call this like the filament path. And then this sketch will be our left connector. And this sketch will be our right connector. And so let's edit the left connector. And I'm just going to turn it a little bit. I'm going to click on this guy here. And I'm going to say move. Now, sometimes this box doesn't fully expand to give you all the options. I notice sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So we want to create copy, and then notice our direction. So we have our direction along this axis is going this way. We actually want to take the z-axis and say minus connector draft. And when I hit OK here, we now have another hole in space between here and here. We need to do this on this surface as well. So let's edit right connector, is it? And we'll click here and we'll hit the move key. See how this one expanded fully? That's bizarre. And now what's our direction? Our direction is in a positive direction, so z distance will be not negative connector, but but positive connector draft. And now we have those holes set up like that. Let's complete this guy down here. So we need to, let's create a sketch. And see that plane was right there, so we didn't need to really create a plane, which is nice. Connector, OD, connector, ID, and then this one is going to be output hole because we have a different size down here. And while I'm here, let's get this offset. So we want to do the same kind of thing here. So I'm going to click here, move. It didn't give me the full size, so now I'm going to go hit copy. Note the direction. The direction I want to go is towards the center. So we are in a positive. So I can go z distance, and I can just say connector draft. And now we're left here with that. That looks really great. We'll finish sketch. And now I'm going to rename this one as output connector. Oh, actually, I don't want the underscore in there. How about just output connector, like so. Okay, here's the part where we have a little bit of fun. So we want to take, we want to actually take all of this, and we want to create a body and connect both of these connections, or these connectors. So to do that, we use a sweep. A sweep basically will take a profile and follow a path. So we've got our profile picked out. I'm going to select down our path, And when we connect that, now, there we go. We got a body. It's great when that actually works. So let's see here. Let me get back to top here. There we go, top. So we've taken the right leg of this, and I'm going to say new body. Okay. Now, I'm going to come back. I need to do this again. So now sometimes Fusion 360 will, if you've messed with a sketch in an extract or in a extrude, it will hide it for you. And then you can't get in there. I don't even think you can select it. Yeah, it doesn't give you the option. So I got to re-enable this. But now we've got a body sitting here. This is kind of a thing that I found. I'm sure everybody knows this, but this is something that really helped me. Instead of trying to move this drawing around, I get close to what I want to select and just hold down the button, the left mouse button. And I'm looking for a profile. So when I click that profile, that guy lights up. And now I actually want another profile. I want this guy here. So I'm going to select this. Oh, I wanted both actually. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to get into sweep. Let's get sweep going. There's our sweep. And I'm going to select this guy. So now we have both profiles selected. I'm now going to grab the line in our filament path. Got hidden automatically. Select. Now I don't want cut. I want join. And you'll notice this did this left turn here. So we want to get rid of that. And so I'm not exactly sure how to do that. Let's see here. Click and click. There we go. So I disabled this chain selection and then clicked through it. So now if we look, looks like we got some nice solid bodies there. And we've joined it. Good to go. Okay, now we need to cut these tapers. So what I want is I need to have a taper for 3D printing purposes. I want this. This can't be just a straight overhang because there's more coming here. Matter of fact, let's do that. Let's set up these outer dimension connectors. So I'm going to hit extrude, and I want to select this profile, and I want two-way. So I'm doing two sides. First selection is going to be my connector draft. And then my next connection in terms of distance is going to be my connector depth. And I want to change this to join. And when I hit OK, I now have the representation of what the connector will look like. And now let's do that down here. Extrude. I'm going to connect to this profile. I'm going to go to two sides. Excuse me. My first one is back, so I'm going to go connector draft. And then down here, I'm going to go connector depth. And I will join this as well and hit OK. And now hopefully you can see how this is just rinse and repeat here and how we're getting our shape kind of coming to life here. One side, two sides. I'm looking at my arrows. Okay, this one is first. So now this one is going to be my connector depth. And then down here, oh, what's that? Zero connector. How about that? And this one will be connector draft. Let's make sure we got that. Looks correct. Okay. And we'll join this again. And now if we eliminate any sketches, we got basically a solid body here. Now, the next thing is I want to take the tapers on this side, on this. So to do a taper, you're basically taking one profile and matching it up with another profile. I don't want to figure out the degrees or anything like that. So I'm going to enable our output connector. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say create. And this is now, this time we're going to use Loft. Loft will take and take a profile and sort of match it to the next profile. So I'm going to click in here. I'm going to say, okay, here's my profile. And this guy here, profile. And now I want to cut. And if we look closely here, you can kind of see this tapered cut that matches up this profile directly to the outside profile. I'm set for cut. I'm going to hit OK. And now when we look in here, we can see that there's a kind of a cut there. It even can be more pronounced if I were to do inspect, section analysis, and then let's say, can I do, oh, where is the, let's do here. And you can see, okay, now you can really see it. You see how the taper's been cut in here? So I've cut the body in half essentially. And there's a taper. So we're going to do that. Let's go over to, let's see, where is it? How do we shut that off? Huh? Oh, maybe okay. And then, oh yeah, here's an analysis. Okay, I could shut it off right there. Okay, so let's take care of these guys here. So we're going to activate our filament path, left connector, right connector. We're going to come in and we're going to once again create a loft. And let's just click. We're going to pick a profile. And our profile, we want this guy here. Kind of tough to pick, so I'm going to pick this one. That's not right. That's not right either. Let's try it again. I can get in here. Profile. There we go. There we got it. Makes it a lot easier than trying to shut things on and off all the time. I'm going to do a cutting operation. Hit OK. And now we should see there's our loft sitting in there, even with a cut hole, a partially cut hole. And we're going to go create loft. And let's pick this profile again. Profile. And this guy. Oh, didn't quite get it there. Try here. Profile. There we go. We're in cut. And we hit OK. And we should have our profile. There we go. Now we need to put in Bowden tube connectors inside here. So what I want to do is I want to put some threads in here before we change any more of this geometry. So I'm going to go create thread, and I'm going to select the face, and there Fusion 360 figures this all out, which is awesome. I got a 10 millimeter. I happen to know off the top of my head that we need a 0.75 on this. And I'm going to tell it to remember it, so the next time I do a thread, it'll pick this one. And I'm going to select model. This is actually puts it in the model. If you were to do something like a CNC or something like that, you might keep this checked off because you would manually thread these, but you maybe just have them for show. So I'm going to hit OK, and now we got real threads there. And let's do the same thing over here. Thread. Click, and let's just verify our numbers. That looks good. We're okay. And let's go back over to here, and we'll say create thread. Click. Oh, we got a warning. This sometimes happens. Operation failed. Try adjusting the values. You know, these errors are really worthless. I think what happens. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to when we created this. I joined this let's go see if we can. This is the power of parametric modeling with Fusion. So if I click on these down here, I can find when I created that. I can actually rename these. Here's the one I created. I'm going to go into Edit Feature. Instead of picking Join, I'm going to make just New Body. So it's still going to be connected there, but it's going to be its own body. So if I hit OK, now when I look at it, it's going to have a separator on it. So now let's see if we can create the thread. There we go. And just to verify our numbers, all that looks good. And excuse me. Let's see if I can mute that out in the audio. So okay, so that's that. Let's take a look at our. Let's bring this section back up, and we can see the threads being cut in. We have our taper here. That all looks really great. Next, we know that when we print, we're going to likely print this standing, not on top, but probably going to print it like this. So having these hard edges here like this is a problem. We want them to be chamfered or, with some kind of taper. So I'm going to apply a chamfer to this. So let's say I'm going to come in and hit, actually don't I just want yeah, I think that's what I want there. So now I'm going to hit modify chamfer, and let's say, I think I'm not sure what this is. We can go a little longer, 1.5. There we go. So now we have a nice profile there. Now this will 3D print really well because we're at approximately 45 degrees. I'm going to take this one here as well, click it, modify chamfer, and we'll do 1.5. This is a parameter I could have set in that parameter setting. Probably should. I'm going to leave this one because it's fine, and our clip is going to positively attach to this square. So I'm going to leave this the way it is. But now we have a nice chamfer there. I'm going to leave these. I kind of like them sharp, but you could put a fillet or a chamfer here if you'd like. So now next we want to cut some holes so that we have some way for the filament to get through. So we're going to come in here and we're going to say create loft. We're using loft because our hole on one side is different than the hole on the other side, and therefore we have to adjust over time to get it all to fit, rather than a sweep being a fixed profile that's just copied on a path. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to try to pick, is that the right? Okay, there we go. Got the profile. And now I'm going to come back over here and I want to pick, oh, I had it there. Oh, I got it. Is that going to, oh yeah, I got her. Right through the body. That don't happen very often. Now, this is a little different. We're gonna do this across the path. Right now we've got it just going straight. We want it to follow that nice conic curve that we built. So let's hit center line. We're gonna have that conic curve be the center. And if we click here, we should now see we have a nice little path going through, and we're gonna say cut. We're gonna hit OK. And just by way of demonstration, let's look at the section again. Now we've got a nice channel going through there, which is really fantastic. This modeling stuff is just amazing. I've never really done it. It's opened up a whole nother world. And Fusion 360 is relatively difficult, but you can, I think if you work at it, it can be done. Okay, so now let's complete our loft on the other side. So I'm going to come in here. Doesn't look like it's going to select it for me. I'm going to go to Profile. And, oh, I got that one. Did we get Profile? Okay. Important to remember when you see connected, that's good. Sometimes you can get a sharp, like you clicked on a point, it'll say connected sharp. So when we're connected, and you could see this profile like this, that's good for at least this application. And now we go here and we'll say cut. Oh, something went wrong. Not smooth. Center line not smooth. Off camera, I figured out how to get this. We had this path connected over here, so I disconnected the chain and individually selected it. So now if I hit cut, we now have a final cut made. And let's take a look at our section analysis. And we can now see there we have a smooth incoming on both sides, and it reduces down and hits this opening on the bottom. We have our threads. Everything looks good, ready to 3D print. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been quite a journey for me learning how to use all this technology in terms of modeling. It's been quite fun. Actually, if I could get paid what I get paid on my day job doing this, I would be doing this. It's a lot of fun. Anyways, have a good one. See ya.